Welcome back to the Eczema Warrior podcast. I just want to come on here quickly before we dive into today's episode, just to say thank you so much for those of you who tuned in to my last two episodes where I talked about my childhood story and then I also talked about my mental health journey this year. I really had no idea that so many of you were able to relate in terms of how things have been going this year for a lot of people's healing journeys and their emotions and their mental health. And also my childhood story too. It was very difficult for me to share such a personal thing about myself. And so being able to do that and hear that a lot of you can relate to my childhood in some ways, it really just made me feel so much more connected to you guys, because as I shared in my episode about my journey this year, I started to feel more and more disconnected with social media, with showing up and connecting with you. It really warmed my heart to see that so many of you resonate with my journey. And yeah, I just want to say that we're all in this together, and thank you so much for being here. It's one of the reasons why I love doing the podcast. You know, I can share not just tips and education on how to heal your gut, how to heal your skin, but also about my journey as well. And what's interesting is that whenever I go through something, I always share that experience to my clients and to you. When I first started my business back in 2020, a lot of the things I was recommending was not only evidence-based research, but also based on my experience as well, going through TSW and having eczema all my life. So now I'm in a new chapter of healing from my childhood traumas and life as a 31-year-old going through stuff. I'm also sharing these experiences with my clients and with you as well. So I'm hoping that you find it helpful and inspiring for your journey. So before we dive into this topic about why you shouldn't be overcomplicating your diet, I wanted to let you know right now we are doing a Black Friday sale. My long-term followers, you guys know Black Friday is the biggest time of the year because I offer the biggest sale of the year. Right now, we are doing 40% off all courses, masterclasses, and guides, 30% off the Gut Brain Skin Restoration Club membership. This is a new membership that I launched earlier in October, and also $500 off of group coaching and one-on-one coaching for clear eczema. This is your chance to invest in your healing now before the end of the year and enter into 2025 feeling your best self. If you've been waiting all of 2024 and you've been feeling stuck with your healing journey, this is the best time to start going all in your journey, because why wouldn't you want to feel great entering 2025, right? A new year. I know some of you may have had a very hard year in 2024. Instead of going into 2025 still feeling difficult with your healing journey, still feeling stressed about your healing, let's enter it with a better mindset, feeling good in your body, feeling confident. And the best part is, of course, Black Friday, you get to have all of these savings. Now, what I want to say is you shouldn't work with me because there's a Black Friday sale on. You should work with me because you've always wanted to work with me and Black Friday just happened to be this week. Maybe you've been following me for the last few weeks, few months, maybe a few years, and you feel that this is the time. This is the time to work with Julia, and the Black Friday sale is just a bonus. If you're ready to heal your skin, heal your gut, heal your mind, then check out the links in the show notes below. There's obviously a difference between each of the offers. For courses, masterclasses, and guides, these are all self-paced. So if you're someone that is wanting to do things on your own, you don't need any support, and you just kind of want to get started in your healing journey, then courses and masterclasses and guides would be a good beginner start. However, if you're someone that needs the coaching, which I recommend for a lot of people, we know how difficult it is to navigate your healing journey alone, and you get a lot of personalization and coaching. If you are someone that desires more of that coaching style, more hands-on support, and you enjoy group community, that's what the Gut Brain Skin Restoration Club membership is all about. In that membership, you get once a month calls with me, and you're also in a group with other people who are on their healing journey as well. We have monthly meditation sessions. This is really good if you're someone that really wants to work on your mindset and start regulating your nervous system. We have monthly meditations for that. We have our exclusive VIP group community. So we have a group chat where you get to ask questions, share your wins, share your struggles. I'm always in there checking messages and making sure that everyone is supported. So with the membership, you get 30% off. If you want to take it even up a level, then we have our Clear Eczema group coaching. And then I also have my one-on-one coaching. This is for you if you desire even more support and you want to learn exactly the step-by-step strategy on how to heal your body inside out. You get access to my course platform. It has over 50 videos teaching you mindset, stress, root causes, diet, everything you name it. We also have bi-weekly calls. This is your chance for you to ask questions in the group, receive coaching from me, of course, and then we have a group community as well. If you desire more of that personalization and you want me to write your protocol, you want me to assess your case, then that's what one-on-one coaching is for, and you can upgrade to be a one-on-one client. So with that, you get $500 off of the entire 6-month program, and this is by application only, and we have limited spots available for coaching. Right now, I'm only taking one more client for one-on-one coaching, and you can apply for the program in the show notes below as well. All right, so Black Friday is going to end on Monday, December 2nd. However, because there are limited spots, I do recommend joining early, especially for the membership and Clear Eczema. Let's talk about today's episode on stop overcomplicating your diet. A lot of you who have been following me, you know how much I stress about not focusing on your diet so much. From working with hundreds and hundreds of clients, I've actually seen the negative impact on eating a quote unquote very healthy diet on my clients compared to my clients who actually care a little bit less about their diet. And here's why. On social media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, there's a lot of influencers or coaches that talk about needing to avoid foods in order to heal the inflammation, heal your gut, or heal your eczema. Now, I understand where that's coming from because there are foods for sure that can cause flares. For example, some people can't eat dairy. When they eat dairy, they notice flares. Some people can't eat gluten because gluten can cause damage to the gut lining, it can cause bloating, it can cause flares for some people. Not only this, there's also a lot of talk about avoiding histamine foods because this is going to cause you to go into a flare. And you have to avoid foods that feed candida like sweet potatoes and bananas and all the delicious food that I love to eat personally. So I get it. There's a lot of different strategies around diet and like what to eat and what to avoid. But the thing with these diets is you have to do things slowly and one at a time. It's not about avoiding all of the histamine foods and all of the candida foods and doing it all together and then worrying about gluten and then worrying about dairy. It's just a lot, right? And when you do everything at once, then your diet becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And when you need to heal your gut and skin, your diet can't be like this, okay? It needs to be a diet that has variety and has different foods, different vegetables, variety in your diet. That is what your microbiome needs. Now, that being said, if you do have histamine intolerance, if you have candida, and you notice symptoms when you eat certain foods containing histamines or feed candida, yes, you might need to temporarily avoid them. But does that mean you need to avoid all of it? No, it really depends on how your body feels. If you don't notice symptoms from eating a sweet potato or eating an avocado or eating a banana, then that's okay. That means you're probably okay with those foods and you don't need to avoid them. You always want to listen to your body and see how you feel when you eat these foods. Now, I know that can be hard sometimes because if you're someone that is in a constant flare or you have constant symptoms, it's really hard to determine what is causing what. But what I really want to emphasize here is you don't need to avoid everything on the list if you don't need to. Do it one at a time. Work with a registered dietitian. Remove a couple foods at a time while you're trying to heal your root causes. That is how you actually heal your body, not just start avoiding a bunch of foods on this list that someone gave you to follow. So if you want to make your diet more simple, what I would say is only avoid foods that you know for sure you have a reaction to. If you don't have a reaction to it or a symptom to it, then you're probably okay. However, work with a practitioner to help you assess Like do a clinical assessment on whether or not you have Candida, on whether or not you have histamine intolerance, because it's not just about reacting to foods that will determine if you have histamine intolerance or Candida. There's a whole bunch of other symptoms that require an assessment to determine if you have those problems or not. That's gonna make your diet so much easier, because when you realize that you actually don't have these issues and it's just that you have a sensitivity to a couple foods, that makes things so much easier because you don't have to go on this diet. Same thing when it comes to gluten and dairy. Not all dairy products are going to cause issues. It depends on the type of dairy. Is it organic? Is it from cow or is it from goat? For example, there's different proteins in dairy. There's casein and whey. Some people react to one or the other. There's also varying types of casein. There's A1 and A2. If you do react to dairy, it could be the A1 casein, which is found in cow's milk, as opposed to A2 casein, which is found in goat's milk, sheep's milk. So with that being said, just because the internet says dairy is bad for you, it doesn't mean that you have to completely wipe out dairy, right? Maybe you can drink goat's milk. Maybe you can eat a different type of dairy. So that makes your diet a lot easier because you don't have to completely avoid everything and just avoid certain types of dairy products. And then, of course, there's gluten. There is some research that talks about how gluten can cause intestinal permeability and gut inflammation. However, it also depends on where in the world you live. The gluten in US and Canada is very different than the gluten in Europe, for example. There's a lot more chemicals, a lot more additives. There's a lot more glyphosate in US and Canada versus in Europe, for example, they have a lot more strict regulations when it comes to food. So some people will react with gluten in North America, but they'll go somewhere else and they'll be completely fine. So you don't need to avoid gluten unless you know for sure that you have a sensitivity or you have symptoms to it. I'm a very good example of this. I cannot eat gluten back in Canada. I get bloated, my eczema gets worse. However, anywhere else in the world, interestingly, I can eat gluten. In Europe, I lived there for a few months, no problem with gluten. Right now I live in Colombia, eat all the bread that I want, no problem. The quality of food is very different in different parts of the world. Even though the internet, social media says, don't eat this, don't eat that, this is bad, whatever. Listen to your body and only avoid things if you really need to. And that is really gonna make your diet a lot easier, because instead of avoiding all these things, maybe you just need to avoid one or two things. Okay, that's what I have to say when it comes to avoiding foods. The other thing about not overcomplicating your diet is to think about what other root causes you possibly have. Because if your root cause is not diet to begin with, why are you overcomplicating your diet? Let's just keep your diet simple, focus on the basics. So many people actually don't even realize how focusing on the foundations of a good diet makes the biggest difference. Eating on time, not skipping meals, focusing on protein, fats, and fiber, slowing down when you eat. Like, these things sound so simple and people kind of just overlook it, but it makes a huge difference. Like, I literally have clients who just stopped skipping meals and started eating regular meals throughout the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, focused more on protein, focused more on healthy fats and fiber, and literally saw their skin heal within a couple weeks. And it's just making simple changes. I'm not asking them to avoid histamines. I'm not asking them to go on a strict Candida diet. It's literally just having balanced meals and good meal timing. So think about your root causes, because it might not be the food. It could just be that you needed to eat properly and eat on time. You needed to work on your digestion. Maybe your root cause is actually stress, and mindfulness practices and regulating your nervous system is actually the number one thing that you want to work on to heal your body. But if you focus all of your attention on your diet and away from the actual factors that influence your symptoms, then you're just going to be in this constant hamster wheel of trying a new diet, avoiding foods, and then not seeing results. So if you take anything away from this episode, I want you to think about your diet right now and how complicated is it, right? Number one, ask yourself, is it necessary for your diet to be the way that it is? If it's not, can we figure out a way to simplify it so it's not so stressful for you and it's actually healing? Number two, are you actually reacting to the foods that you're avoiding? Because if you don't have any sensitivities based on that, and also based on whole assessment on your medical history, because if you're not reacting to these foods, Can we start adding them back one by one and see how you feel? Number 3, are you working on other root causes, or are you mostly focusing on your diet? And last one, number 4, if you looked at your diet right now, are you getting enough nutrients and variety? Start there. That will help you a lot in thinking about whether or not your diet needs to change for the better, so you can actually start seeing healing and not feel so overwhelmed and stressed out about your diet, because it shouldn't be. Your diet should feel good and you should enjoy your foods, and you should be able to go out and enjoy your foods too. Okay, I could go on and on clearly about the diet topic, but I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message on Instagram and let me know. Happy to answer your questions about your healing. And if you need support when it comes to your diet, when it comes to your root causes, all the things to heal all of your symptoms, then check out the show notes, because there's different offers for Black Friday. I'm happy to support you on your healing journey, and I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoy Thanksgiving, which is coming up this week. Go have fun, go eat the foods you want. Let's try not to have anxiety around your diet and have a good time with your family, okay? Love you guys so much, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.